All right, well, welcome. My name is Casey Lamar, and I'm the Public Information Officer for the City of Hendersonville. And today I'm here with Jesse Eckenroth, the city's COO, Sarah Locke, the city's Public Works Director, and Mayor Jamie Clary. And the topic of discussion today is one that everyone in the whole city talks about at some point or another, almost maybe a little bit every day, is traffic and our traffic synchronization program. So Mayor Clary, why don't you kick us off and kind of give us a little bit of an introduction of what the city's vision is and how we got here and what we're going to do.
So for probably 20 years, maybe even more than that, we've really needed to coordinate our traffic signals. Because we have signals that work and they work well, but they're not really coordinated, they're not synchronized with each other. And so that was a project that we really started to undertake, before I was even mayor, and we've been working on it for a long time. It's a very intricate project, and I wish we were further along. We've already installed some new equipment, and that's sort of phase one, as we put fiber optic lines in, and Sarah's going to tell you a little bit more about that. But we've also replaced some of our equipment as we've needed to. We've have some more technologically advanced equipment, but there's still more to come. One of the other things that we've done, and I think this is a huge step forward, is we have hired a traffic signal technician. So we now have a professional that works for the city, that his job is to coordinate and make sure our traffic signals work the most efficient way and to move traffic along as well as possible.
That's fantastic. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of signals we currently have in the city?
Sure. So currently, as the mayor stated, that our intersections, they work well, but they are isolated. So right now they run free or standalone. So all of the intersections are not communicating with each other. They are not coordinating timing through a corridor. So right now they do not run as efficiently as they could.
So what is signal synchronization? What's that going to do for us?
Sure. So as I said, right now we're running free or standalone, so everything is isolated per intersection. Whereas when we implement the synchronization, they will have communications between all of the intersections along the three main corridors of the city. And then the synchronization allows the lights to turn green along the corridor in advance of arriving traffic based on the timing plan and the congestion. And they'll be communicating between one another.
What all does the current synchronization project include?
Sure. So as the mayor alluded to, it includes fiber and radio communications between the intersections, and that also will communicate back to City Hall. It included new controllers for the cabinets, which are basically the computers that run the intersections. And then this second phase that we're moving toward will include new timing plans as well as new detection for all of the approaches to the intersections. And instead of the loop detection that we currently have that's in the pavement, this will be radar and video detection. So it'll be from the poles. So it will not be subject to damaged pavement, which will be a significant benefit to the city.
So, of course, one of the things everybody always asks about is, what does this cost the city? How is this being funded?
This project is roughly $4.3 million for the total project, and it will be funded through federal dollars that are administered through the state. So the city's portion is very low for this project, approximately $100,000.
So one of the things that Sarah and I talk about, and the alderman and I talk about a lot, is that with that federal and state money comes a lot of conditions, comes a lot of strings attached, and that really has caused the delays. We appreciate the money very much, and we understand the priorities and the expectations, but sometimes the delays have been a little bit difficult for us and very frustrating for us. We've had conversations about spending some of our own money, and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen is interested in doing that. So some parts of the next phase, I'm going to ask the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to fund that separately so we can move forward faster. It's not ideal, and ideally we would be able to use all that money, be able to do it quickly, and not have to jump through all the hoops. But if we use our own money, we can move much more rapidly, and we can have some of our corridors timed much more quickly.
That would be awesome. Sarah, what special infrastructure is needed to be able to synchronize the signals?
So the new computers or controllers in the cabinets was definitely necessary. And then the main infrastructure that's necessary is, the communication, so the fiber and the radios that have been installed, those are crucial.
Is there anything beyond that that's going to help make it work better?
Yes, the new detection will also significantly improve the efficiency of that.
Fabulous. what kind of maintenance is going to be needed once this is all in place?
So over the past year and a half, 2 years, we've had well over 70 calls for work orders for maintenance at our traffic signals. And with this new system that we are installing and will be implementing, we're going to see a significant increase in the maintenance needs for that system to keep it running efficiently and effectively. So we do, as the mayor alluded to as well, we do have a new traffic signal technician that will be assisting us with that.
So, everybody's big question is, am I going to see more green lights? So how is this going to affect the flow of traffic from the city once it's implemented?
Sure. So the major street will receive priority. So Main Street, New Shackle, and Indian Lake Boulevard are the three major corridors, three major streets. They will flow from signal to signal more efficiently. And while there will not be more green time necessarily, they will see a more consistent flow of green through those corridors. And the side streets will likely experience a little more delay as those main streets are prioritized, but the overall movement through the city will be more efficient.
Fantastic. So Mayor Clary mentioned that BOMA is looking to fund some separate stuff to make it happen a little bit faster. So what kind of improvements could we see in the next 6 months?
Sure. So in the next 6 months, we're seeing a faster response to any issues or disturbances at our intersections just by having our traffic signal technician and the new controllers and that communication back to City Hall. Additionally, once we implement the new timings, we will see more efficient flow through the city. So I think that users will really recognize that in the next 6 months.
And then what about beyond that, 12, 18 months?
Yes. So through that timeline, we should have all of the new detection as well as the full implementation of the synchronized timing plans. And at that point, we should realize significant operational benefits through the city.
Obviously, this makes things a little more complicated, Jesse. So what is the city going to be doing? How are we going to address known issues and plan for the future there?
Yeah, we've already started to address this. When a traffic signal goes out, no one wants to wait for it to get fixed, and we certainly don't want to be at the mercy of a contractor who we have on contract. So for us to have the ability to get out and fix these signals quicker, about 4 months ago, we hired a traffic signal technician. It's the first time the city's had a traffic signal technician on staff. That's someone who's experienced and who's certified to work on signals. So when we have an issue, we're not at the mercy of a contractor and their schedule. We can immediately deploy our resource to go out to an intersection, and then we also have our contractor who's on call should we need additional resources.
So for those who are still watching this video and learning about traffic, Mayor Clary, tell us about what the city is planning long-term for transportation.
So we know that traffic is going to continue to increase. What we want to do is we want to be able to, first off, make sure that the signals we have right now, that they flow better. But also we're looking at some improvements to some roads. And a great example is Avondale Road at Saundersville that backs up every weekday, and we're planning a right turn lane. But we also have many other projects, and you can find those on our website, and we'll make sure that we provide a link to that, that are just going to help keep moving traffic and keep it moving safely. And that's very important. It's not just about moving it, but making sure that cars can move safely through those intersections.
So what other kind of improvements is the city considering?
Yeah, so first of all, for resiliency, we are prioritizing intersections to add hookups for generators so that when we have emergency events like tornadoes and things like that and our traffic signals are impacted, that we can plug in a generator and have those remain operational through that situation, which will really alleviate some of our other resources like police and things like that. Additionally, we are working on a traffic improvement plan right now. So we have identified a list of, I believe, over 60 locations where we're looking at improvements and planning for the future. And there will be a survey, I believe, that will be coming out about that. And we're really excited to put together a plan and really have some focus.
So Casey, when we talk about traffic projects or road projects, I think we should mention that the Walton Ferry alignment with Old Shackle Island Road, which is a completely state project. The city contributed to it, but it's a state project, runs its mostly part of a state highway, that they anticipate bids going out for that in June and the construction beginning before the end of the fiscal year, end of the calendar year. That's the end result is going to be very positive. It's going to help traffic. It's going to be a little bit messy during the construction part of it, but we look forward to this project that has really been on the books for TDOT for 20-something years of actually getting started.
Yeah, that will be exciting for sure. All right, Jesse, so tell us, what do we only juggle, like maybe one project at a time?
It seems like that sometimes when you're driving around, but these projects just take a lot of years to complete. And right now, in terms of major projects, we are underway with Durham Farms Roundabout, the intersection improvements at Stop 30 and Drakes Creek, Exit 8, which that project is well over $30 million. That's a significant project. The signal synchronization projects, which we've been talking about. Rockland Road at Main is receiving a new traffic signal. So instead of being on a span wire, it'll be a regular mast and mast arm. Long Hollow and Drakes Creek is also getting a mast and mast arm signalized intersection out there. And then we've also discussed the Walton Ferry and Old Shackle realignment. As Mayor Clary said, that's been on the books for TDOT for many, many years. And I think there was over 80 individual pieces of right-of-way that they had to acquire. And in addition to that, we're working on our long-range transportation plan to mitigate future growth of the city. And we've identified 10, 20, 30, 40 of these pretty significant projects that we think can come to light from that as well. So although you don't always see all of them physically being constructed at one time, the city has a list of projects that we're actively working on.
So Casey, I've got a question.
Sure.
So Jesse, you mentioned the work that we're doing. However, the average resident that sends me an email or asks you or Sarah a question, they don't necessarily see dirt moving, but we talk about the work we're doing. So why is that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It seems like these projects take a lot of time, and they do. And a part of that is because on most of these projects, the city's not paying for the vast majority of it. It's through a state or a federal fund. And a lot of times, even if it's through the state, they're federal funds. And so we have to meet the requirements of the federal funds, which, it takes time and it is a pain. And there are a lot of strings attached. But at the end of a project, when $10 million of the $11 million project was paid by federal funds, you follow those procedures to get those funds. And those projects are broken up into multiple phases, and you can't start one phase without completing another phase. So those phases are environmental, design and engineering, right-of-way, utility coordination, and then construction. And from the city's perspective, once it gets to construction, that's the easy part. Most of the work has been done. The years and years of planning is complete, and the construction is actually the easy part.
And the construction is the last part.
It's the last part, and typically it's the quickest part as well.
So all these are really exciting things happen for the city. And as Jesse mentioned, we are working on a long-range transportation plan, and that's going to be a chance where we really want to hear from you. So be sure to keep up with the website and our social media and look for a chance to hear about a town hall that you can attend to provide feedback, as well as a survey that you can provide feedback online. And then additionally, always remember there's a link on our website, which will show up here on the screen, where you can let us know if you run into a traffic signal or something that's not working that we can get to right away.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Thank
being
you.
here.